truth. What are your thoughts on all this?
I don't think it matters whether you're Republican or Democrat. You should want every legal vote to count. You should want every recount to be finished. And you should want every legal challenge to be heard. Because we believe our elections should be fair, honest, and accurate. That is the only way you get it. I'll give you one small example. In New Jersey's 7th congressional district, of course, the AP called it. What are we finding out now as they begin to count the ballots? Lo and behold, that may not be the case. The Republican may end up winning. Every pollster told us from the president down 17 points in Wisconsin, to we losing the Senate, to we lose the state legislatures, to Republicans would lose 15 to 20 seats in the House. Not one Republican incumbent in the House lost, but 12 Democrats did. We didn't lose one state legislature. We actually gained 3, and we're holding the Senate. So yes, let's make sure every legal vote is counted, let them finish any recount, and let every legal challenge be heard to make sure, especially in this year when we had ballots just mailed statewide, with people, even if people didn't request it.
Well, you know, what's interesting is that, you know, they claimed there was going to be a blue wave and not a single Republican incumbent was defeated. That is amazing. But let's talk about what you have said, and that is that you say that this is a mandate against socialism. What do you mean by that?
It's a mandate against socialism because that's what the Democrats were. Take, for instance, Donna Shalala, the former Secretary of Health and Human Service, the Congresswoman down in Miami, a very Democrat seat. She was defeated. She called herself a socialist. You listen to it, defund the cops. We won from Miami to New York to Minnesota to Oklahoma to California. Just last night they called another seat in California for young Kim. And the uniqueness is how much stronger President Trump has made this party. Do you realize that every Democrat that has lost to date has been defeated by a Republican woman, a Republican minority, or a Republican veteran? We are more diverse and stronger because what President Trump has done. 2 seats in Miami. 2 seats right now, probably 4 in California. We are going to be somewhere in a very close perspective of almost winning the majority. It will be the smallest majority the Democrats have had since World War II.
And you know, what's interesting is that you've got Nancy Pelosi, and she's certainly taking some pushback, you know, starting with the, you know, the ice cream in front of the $25,000 freezer or whatever it was, and all of the claims that she has made during the pandemic, you know, as she walks around without a mask. And now she is confronted with a question as to whether or not she will continue to be Speaker. 2 things I want to ask. Number 1, your thoughts on that. And number 2, with fewer Democrats, does she have a higher risk of losing her speakership purely because she didn't win by as big a margin as she should have or might have?
Well, we'll have leadership races next week, and you'll hear that she'll win the leadership race. But that does not make her Speaker. You have to have 218 votes on the floor. Last Congress, 15 Democrats voted against her. 10 of those Democrats are coming back to Congress. If 10 Democrats vote against her, she will not be Speaker. We will end up somewhere about 210 or further for the number of Republicans. So you know what could happen? She could lose as Speaker, but if she wins as Speaker, you have AOC and the progressive socialists actually grow. They are fighting among themselves, tweeting at one another, pictures staring at one another, saying it's a dumpster fire, screaming on their conference calls. I believe at the end of the day, the Republicans will run the floor because it'll be our ideas that are stronger. That the American public have rejected defunding the police, dismantling America. We believe we can rebuild and restore the American way.
Congressman Kevin McCarthy, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Judge.